Hello guys, as you can see, my journey to get my first 100k got even closer. I'm currently at an all-time high, and I started investing on the 25th of September 2023 with around 50 USD. And all the steps which are straight going up and looks like stairs are the times when I put money into my broker. Sometimes I had the chance to transfer bigger amounts and sometimes not. And this is something that I want to teach you, and you should learn it as soon as possible. We are living in a lie. Have a stable job, study, get a good degree, work hard and get paid well, and one day you can retire and live a good life. This is not true at all. We have right now the best age and are the youngest version of ourselves. You wish one day to be back in your 20s. After that you wish to be back in your 30s, 40s, 50s, until it's too late. And you don't want to start your life in retirement age. Because what would you do with 65 or 67? You don't have the energy and time to do fun stuff in this world. And the goal of today's video is to analyze a little bit more about my portfolio and explain why I almost beat the S&P 500. Because as you can see, we had here around April the tariff situation and it hit the market very hard. And I used that as a leverage. And here, please write it into the comments if you see it already or not. But without doing another transfer into my broker, the line's starting to get really straight, don't you think so? And this is what compound interest means. You have to imagine, we can see the chart until today, and today is the 12th of August 2025, and in maybe 3 to 5 years, you will see the chart at the corner right at this point. My goal is to invest currently around 12,000 USD into my broker per year. And after 7 years, I will crack my first 100k. And I'm honest, I know how disciplined I am. I will crack it earlier. I started as well to invest into crypto with the tariffs, and we will see if it was worth it or not. But all the things that I'm doing is to reach my first 100k faster than usual, because if you start to investing, you have the opportunity to take more risk. You have to imagine if you had a couple of millions into your broker, you just want to save money, because if you start losing money, it is pretty huge in comparison to around 16k. Hopefully you understand what I mean. But let us go into my positions, because I told you in the past week, I have a new investment choice to make. And I have to scroll a little bit down, because my choice was Roche Holding. It is a Swiss pharma company, and I bought in a value of 510 Swiss francs, which brings on the table a little bit over 2 stocks. And most probably this stock will fall from the tariff situation and Donald Trump, but I see the long term. And I think in the future, and this is just something that I think and don't know, this will grow back to their usual price. Because if we look at the chart, you can see it was at March 2025 around 310. And if we look a little bit further and look at the 5-year perspective, the all-time high was around 400 Swiss francs. And this is nothing which will happen in a couple of months, because it dropped a lot after they're announcing their new numbers, and it wasn't that good as the stakeholder wanted to be. That means just announcing their goals, the stock dropped around 100 francs. We will see if it was worth it or not. Let's go back to my positions. As I mentioned in the beginning, you will see here my comparison between the S&P 500 against my portfolio. And you can see I really lose against the overall view. But what we didn't calculate at all is, at the beginning, I made a really huge loss. And this is something which you just learn if you already lost your money. And I made a mistake with the settings of my Interactive Broker account, which cost me a really huge fee in comparison to the amount that I had in my broker. As an example, I had $50 inside of my broker and paid around $5 to $10 in fees. That results in the 10 to 14% loss over the time. But if we take more data and look just in a yearly period, and I also bought the S&P 500, it is something which is going hand in hand with my portfolio. And sometimes even my performance was better in a couple of scenarios as the S&P 500. And it's just a matter of time when I want to sell my single stocks and concentrate my focus just in the S&P 500 to reach my first 100k. And hopefully you understand this chart. The green line is my portfolio and the blue one is the S&P 500. let's go into my portfolio and I want to show you my positions which I have. I have overall 4 ETFs. These are ETFs which I bought a long time ago and put it into my broker as well. And I didn't want to sell it and invest it into something new. I just hold it and see how the compound is working. Because overall, it doesn't matter in which ETF you invest. You will have most of the time, not always, a pretty huge amount in the US. And why go against the US? They have companies like Google, Amazon, Meta, Nvidia, SharkNinja, Duolingo, etc. And exactly that is my strategy. I invest into the biggest companies with the biggest market value overall for a couple of years until especially Donald Trump is the president. As I mentioned a couple of times, he compares his success as a president with the stock market and their success. In this time period, I will buy huge in stocks, ETFs, and as well crypto. And before a new president gets elected, I will sell off a little bit of my crypto to put out the amount that I invested into it. And the rest will be playing money. And I don't care if I lose all. And especially I will hold it and never sell anything of it. And in my stocks, my goal is to get here in my VOO, which is my S&P 500 ETF with a very cheap expense ratio of 0.03 to around 100k. And after that, I will see what I want to do and continue. But right now, we have as well Alphabet, which is going back to the all-time high of around 220 USD. I never thought in the tariff dip in April that 2 Microsoft shares bring me a profit of almost 300 USD. And it got even more insane. 0.41 of Meta share. Not even one Meta share brought around 74 USD in profit. I bought as well a little bit of Nvidia, and maybe in the next month I want to build up my position with ASML and get maybe in the future 1 share of it, and as well build up a position of Twilio because it dropped as well pretty huge. The only stock in my portfolio which is not going through the roof is still Nike, and it is a bet. The gain in my performance chart was just because of Google, Amazon, VOO, and a couple of other stocks. And as well, if Nike gets back on track, it will push my portfolio as well. For some of you, these are small numbers, but for me, it is my beginning of my story. I want to as well show you my watch list, and especially the stocks which I'm interested in. We have at the one side Crocs, which dipped pretty huge and make a chance to start buying them. And if we look at the 5-year perspective, they are almost at the same value that they had on November 2023. And this opened up maybe a good opportunity to buy it, because I'm a pretty huge fan. They customize their shoes and people buy them all over the world. Another very attractive stock from my point of view is Grab. If you went to the Asian side, you will see a lot of Grab drivers. It is the Uber of the Asian market. And if you look at the 5-year perspective, the stock never recovered since 2021. And I think they don't earn a lot of money currently, but still over the next years and the population got higher and maybe they expand over the world, it could be a pretty attractive stock as well. Last but not least, we have Duolingo, which I think as well and use it on a regular basis. It is almost at 322 and open ups maybe a good buying point from now on. I have to wait a little bit more to see what is going on with Duolingo, but maybe this will as well be a stock to build in. This is not a recommendation from my side, guys. All the stocks that I will show you right now are just vehicles to push my portfolio, to build up my S&P 500 VOO and get my portfolio to the first 100k. And hopefully one day I can live from my investments and get out of the 9-to-5 struggle. This was a little bit different than the usual videos, but hopefully you liked it. Thanks for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye bye.